Welcome to day 6 of The Businesswoman Who Has Time. We adjusted the title slightly to help find the right people on YouTube, and here you are. So I'm here for 30 days in a row with you on YouTube at one of the busiest times of the year. We're going into Christmas. Today is December 16, and it's one of those days for me as a mum, just a working mum, and a woman in business at that. Because of this time of year, we still have a couple of our 6 kids in school. So it's end of year assembly day for our youngest, who's 14, and have been notified by the school that she's receiving an award. So I'm popping off there a bit later in the morning to do that, as so many mums and dads do at this time of year. But I really wanted to be on here with you before I went off to do that because I had a message overnight actually from some of what we discussed yesterday. We were talking about how your money mindset can, be a great determinant of whether or not you will actually be successful with your business and growing wealth and what it is that you want to do. And I very briefly touched on something I'd spoken about the day before in day 4 of this 30-day series, being your partner's money stories and how they can affect your trajectory as a woman in business, but also how it can alter the trajectory of your family's financial success. Now, I mentioned yesterday that when it comes to money stories, you personally can actually only work on your own. And if you discover that you have some money stories that aren't serving you, then it's your responsibility to do the work to improve the way you think about money and the way you look after money and what you would like to do with your money, how you will have an impact with what the universe sends you. But what about when you discover that you're being pulled against, in a sense, by your partner? Now, this could be your life partner, or maybe you've got a business partner, and you just have some fundamental differences in the way you see things. One of you might be a bit risk adverse, and the other one is okay with a little bit of risk. One might always feel like they're, just getting a few steps in front, but the other one puts the brakes on. And that's not an ideal situation when you're the one who's trying to get some momentum and trying to take everyone forward with you, and it starts to cause resentment. What if you find yourself in that situation? This is my situation. It was my personal experience, what I have just described. I'm very, very grateful that I did the work to at least work on my part of how that wasn't working in a money story sense. And because I did, I was also able to open my eyes to other things that also weren't working, where there were just we were fundamentally polar opposites. And we just weren't a good team at the end of the day. And we know the end result of that. My first marriage ended. I was divorced, but I'm very fortunate now because I did do that work to identify what my own money stories were and what my own stories were around how I was attracted to that relationship in the first place, because I was a fixer. And many of you will identify with that because it comes along often with the mother nurturer, where we're used to putting people back together again. Our little babies, when they come to us, our kids, and they've scraped their knee, and we know how to, console them and put a band-aid on that, and then off they go again. But if we're not careful, we tend to continue to do that as adults and try and do it for other adults. And the reason that we fall into that is because we're actually so good at spotting potential and realizing our own potential, we project that onto other people. And we can see what people could be if they just did X, Y, or Z. And we think we're doing the right thing by trying to help them get there. But just because we can see the potential doesn't mean that person can see the potential in themselves. And we've got to remember that the way when you come into a union, particularly a life partnership union, you're both coming from different places that had different things modeled in childhood. So when you've got somebody who's number 4 in the birth order of their family, who's, come together as a team with somebody who's number 1 in the birth order in their family, that dynamic alone is just going to mean there are differences in the way that you have experienced childhood growing up and that you've gone on to do certain things a certain way in your life. Then we've got the situation where you might have someone whose mother stayed at home and was a homemaker, raising the children while the father went out to work. Another situation where you've got someone in the union who had both parents working modeled to them, or someone that's come from a solo parent family, whatever it is, all of that stuff has an impact on how we see money and what we're prepared to do in order to have a great result. And for some people, in fact, for many people, even small business owners, they aren't actively thinking about the outcome they could be achieving. They are just doing each day as it comes, and they don't know to do it differently. But for those of us who are used to seeing human potential, it can be really frustrating when you recognize that you are actually the fixer in the relationship and you are the one creating the momentum and the drive forward, but the handbrake has been put on behind you and you're not actually able to get to where you can see you want to go, or what you see from others is where you can go. The frustrating part can be that you can only do the work on you. You can invite your other person in your life relationship union or your business partner to do the work as well, but only they can do that work. So you can't change anyone's money story. You can't change their limiting beliefs around what they believe is possible for them. You can be the example, which is the way that I chose to do it. You can accept that there's work to do. You can do that work for yourself. You can write out money affirmations and prosperity affirmations, and you can journal about it, and you can educate yourself. You can read books. You can watch videos like this. You can listen to audios and podcasts. You can set up the structure, the masculine structure that I spoke about in my video yesterday for day 5. You can do all of that. But if your other person in the partnership, business or life, isn't willing to get on the same page, that's where you find yourself in a position where you've got some decisions to make. And for some of you, that decision will be, well, I guess I'm just not going to be able to do it then. My partner's not on board. I won't do it. And that's okay. But that's your decision. For me, I wasn't able to do it that way. I have been driven since I was a little girl by a vision of what my life could look like. And how many people in the world I would be able to help to have a better life if I was able to do things in a certain way. And one of the things that I discovered in my previous relationship at the end of the marriage, when I was sitting there, I'm going, we have the ability to earn a significant amount of income, but it's coming in and going out. What's going on here? So I started to do the work I told you about in yesterday's video. And as I discussed with my human design, I'm really good at trial and error. Once I've done my research, off I go, trial and error, find the thing that works, put systems around it, make it be able to repeat, pass it on to my clients. Success for them as well. Not being able to do that in my previous relationship also made me look at the other aspects of the relationship. And that's why I chose separation. I am not an advocate for if you can't get your partner on board and in alignment with your money stories, that you have to go and get a divorce. That is not it at all. It means you've got some conversations to have with each other. And if money feels really hard for both of you, then there's a really good chance that your other half is just unaware of the money stories that are playing out for them. Having an open, honest discussion about it is one of the best things you can do. I don't have the stats on, what percentage of the population wants to stay stuck and have money feeling hard. But money is one of the largest cause of arguments in any relationship. And for most people, they don't want to have those arguments. So, doing a little work to discover what is holding your family unit back from having the prosperity that you want to have is a good thing. And if you feel like it's opened up a can of worms about a whole range of other things, get somebody to help facilitate those conversations. With my private clients, there is always a point where I recognize that, okay, this isn't business mentoring anymore. We're crossing into you needing other professional backup here, off to specific relationship therapy or relationship counselor, financial counselors that can help in this area. So you don't have to figure out everything yourself. That's what business coaches and business mentors are for. But when it's operating inside a partnership dynamic of some kind and you recognize that you're in over your head, then there are those expert options that you can bring in to help you as well. But a huge reminder, if you have discovered through the last couple of days of videos, you've got some money stories that aren't serving you, do the work for you first, because the education will serve you forever, regardless of whether you can get your partner on board with it or not. If you can get your partner on board with it, then the sky is the limit for you guys from now on. I guarantee you. I have seen it too many times in my clients' success that when we overcome the money stories that aren't serving them, the floodgates open. And it was certainly the case for myself. 8 years ago, I was getting as many groceries as I could at the petrol station because I had a fuel card that would allow me to pay the fuel off in 30 days' time. And I was putting those groceries on my fuel card. That's how broke I was when I separated. Today, I'm so humbled and grateful to my former self, who for a lot of years didn't know any better and did the best that she could with what she knew. But I'm so glad that she chose to open her mind and learn and do the trial and error to find out what works, because the life that I am able to live with my amazing husband and our blended family of 6 kids, the experiences that we're able to have, and what I'm able to pass on to my clients and the impact that that has a ripple effect with to their families, to their kids, to their people in their teams, and how that ripples around the world, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing and better than I ever imagined, because I chose to be uncomfortable and think, well, what am I contributing to this dynamic of us being able to bring money in but not keep it? What's going on here? So do the work. You're worth it. The result that you want to achieve is worth it. Your family's worth it. Your relationship's worth it. Let me know what you've discovered about your money stories. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video so it ends up in the feeds of other people that can learn something from it just like you. And looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 7 of the Businesswoman Who Creates Time.